塞拉利昂总统比奥接受高端访谈专访，两国建交55周年，他称赞中国是值得信赖的伙伴。
It is very strong, on a very sound footing, based on mutual respect.
中国对非洲53个建交国实施零关税政策。他表示，中国为促进全球发展做出了积极贡献。
You can grow and still carry your friends along with you, and that is where the world will become a more peaceful place.
谈到国际局势，他表示
The world revolves around, for now, multilateralism, whether it's challenged or not.
高端访谈，敬请收看。塞拉利昂位于非洲西部，与几内亚、利比里亚交界，濒临大西洋。建交55年来，中国与塞拉利昂关系发展顺利。2016年，中塞建立全面战略合作伙伴关系。2018年，中塞签署共建“一带一路”合作谅解备忘录，数十家中资企业在塞投资，为当地基础设施建设和农业、渔业等领域的发展注入活力。
Mr. President Julius Maada Bio, thank you very much for taking your time and accept our interview. 2026 is a very important year for the relation between Sierra Leone and China because we will celebrate our 55th anniversary of diplomatic relations as well as and 10th anniversary of our comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership. So how do you assess the current Sierra Leone-China relations?
It is very strong, on a very sound footing, based on mutual respect, and that is why I say it is a sustainable relationship. China has proven to be a dependable friend, even in the midst of COVID, when the whole world was gripped in this fever of COVID. China still made effort to reach out, to support. You know, our first vaccines, some of our first vaccines were from China. I remember President Xi Jinping booked an appointment telephonically to engage me, to see how we were doing in the midst of all of this, when the world was completely gripped in this fever of everybody take care of yourself. For me, that is a show of respect, concern, genuine concern. And that is what we need in the world. After all, the titles we carry, heads of state and all of this, is meant to serve the people. But we can only serve the people if we have a healthy relationship amongst ourselves so that we can compare notes, we can show compassion and empathy, and then we can allow that to trickle down to the ordinary people. China has proven to be a dependable friend.
Mr. President, last time in China, our colleague interviewed you and you told a story of the Chinese mobile clinics. And do you have any other stories you want to share of the cooperation between Sierra Leone and China to the world?
Fishing in Sierra Leone caters for at least 1 million people, those who are directly involved in fishing activities. Without an infrastructure like this, it makes it less profitable. So instead of putting more layers of bureaucracy, China has decided to give us a fishing harbor with all the amenities that go with it, so that people who are gainfully employed in fishing can now make more profit. And again, government is going to also make more revenue from the activities. This sort of infrastructure, which is a gift from the People's Republic of China, you can't attach even value to it. But at the end of it, it is going to serve the audience, especially the women who take care of society. So that is one. We have been having problems exporting directly to major capitals in the world because of a requirement, hygiene requirement to make sure that there is certification. China, in our last meeting, they have given us a certification regime that allows fish from Sierra Leone to enter China. This is an example of a country trying to help others come up. Instead of create that hurdle, I think it is better to help us deal with the certification process, which is what China has done. So now our fish can leave from Sierra Leone and enter markets in China, which is, and access to market is very important for us. So that is another example of a reliable friend looking genuinely at what is needed to help the nation and providing it.
In 2024, when you visited China, you went to Wuhan, you visited Hubei Academy of Agricultural Institute. It seems food security is really dear and near to your heart. Can you share us what possible cooperation between Sierra Leone, China, or even broader region, let's say Africa and China, could enhance the food security, especially for Africa?
Well, I once joked with President Xi Jinping. I told him, you are feeding comfortably 1.4 billion people. Please help me to feed just 8 million people. And one of the things he told me was that infrastructure is critical to agriculture, food security. We have over 5.4 million hectares of arable land as a small country. We have ample rainfall. What has been lacking is the capital and also modernization. We are still stuck in history in terms of our agriculture, food production methods. So we have to try to mechanize and bring in the modern techniques of food production. And so we have been looking for partners all around the world. The Chinese have always been with us. We mostly depend on rain-fed agriculture, which means we have a short period where we produce and we wait again for the rain to come. So you need irrigation, you need roads, you need tractors, you need a lot of other things, a whole value chain system to make sure that food is produced and at a scale that makes it profitable for the farmers, but also affordable for the ordinary person. We are lucky to have arable land. Africa as a whole has 60% of the world's arable land, and we think that we can be a major supplier. But also, let's look at food not only as for nutrition, it's also a way to prevent conflict. A hungry man is an angry man. Agriculture itself, for now, until we are able to transform, is highly labor intensive, and 70% of our people are actually living in the rural areas where agriculture is their main preoccupation. So we want to be able to give jobs, livelihood to these people, especially the women and the youth who need to be employed.
So China can be a partner for Sierra Leone in agriculture?
China is a partner already. They've gone through a successful agrarian revolution. And to the best of my knowledge, for all countries that we admire and are doing well as industrialized states, they have had to go through the agriculture path, food security. And I want food sovereignty in addition to political sovereignty. And that is why I'm pushing very hard to be able to succeed.
2026年是中非开启外交关系70周年，中方决定于2026年5月1日起，对53个非洲建交国全面实施零关税举措。这是中非携手共筑新时代全天候中非命运共同体的生动实践。由此，中国成为全球首个对所有非洲建交国和所有建交的最不发达国家实现单方面全覆盖零关税待遇的主要经济体。
I don't know whether you noticed China's 15 five-year plan and the zero tariff treatment to Africa. For you, what do you think a strong Chinese economy could benefit Sierra Leone and the African continent?
China is a great market. And I cited that instance of the fishing harbor and the certification process that we allow. But beyond that, China has made sure that products from who were friends of China could enter that market at zero cost, zero tariff. It is this sort of relationship wherein you give us access to a market of that magnitude, provided all the other criteria are met. So we are looking at a China that can grow with its friends. They are not mutually exclusive. You can grow and still carry your friends along with you. And that is where the world will become a more peaceful place.
Mr. President, if I didn't get it wrong, there's a saying in Sierra Leone said, you cannot tie a knot with just one hand. You have to use two hands, which means countries, no matter small or big, developed or developing, they have to work together to build a better future. What do you think of Chinese President Xi Jinping's vision for a all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future for the new era? What is your impression and interpretation for that?
I think earlier on I referred to a meeting at a time when we were all isolated. Everybody was thinking about their own countries. Of course, we had COVID in China at the time, but he still had time to think about a small population, less than one of the cities in China, by far. For me, we need that sort of engagement at the highest level for us to genuinely deep dive into our problems. Sharing table with him at the dinner, he told me the best way to a successful agrarian revolution is a highway, meaning stressing the importance of infrastructure, and have come to realize that you cannot embark on agriculture at scale without paying serious attention, investing in infrastructure. So that sort of experience sharing only takes place at that level.
Mr. President, we Chinese people always say that it was our African brothers who carried People's Republic of China into the United Nations. Sierra Leone is also a penholder, a co-sponsor of the General Assembly Resolution 2758. But currently, a few people, they're saying that Taiwan's status is undetermined. What is the position of Sierra Leone on the Taiwan question?
We have been very steadfast in our commitment to the One China policy. We believe that that is the way out at the end. And the One China policy is what we still support.
So Taiwan is part of China?
Correct.
So which means Taiwan is actually an internal affair of China?
Correct.
朱利叶斯·马达比奥从2018年起担任塞拉利昂总统，期间塞拉利昂当选2024至2025年度安理会非常任理事国，并2次担任安理会轮值主席。
Mr. President, we're now in the office for President of the Security Council, which is a small office, but actually carries quite big significance. So Sierra Leone has become a member of the Security Council since 2024. It's 2 years. Now, during the 2-year membership of the Security Council, Sierra Leone, actually, we saw big uncertainty in the world. And Sierra Leone, here in the UN, is a member of what we call a group of friends of the Global Development Initiative.
We have to recognize, as we normally say, that the world is a village today. And if it is a village, then we have to take care of one another. And that is what I admire China for. They have been open and willing to help other countries. China is a successful example of a country that has made so much progress in the last 50 years. And they have the experience that we can learn from.
And you've been here twice to preside a high-level open debate. So during the tenure, what has Sierra Leone learned from your experience as a member of the Security Council?
First, I must say it's an honor and a great learning experience for Sierra Leone. The world revolves around, for now, multilateralism, whether it's challenged or not. And being at the Security Council means you are at the center. And to have had the opportunity to preside over the Security Council twice, it's a great opportunity. We've learned quite a lot. It creates the opportunity for you to understand world politics at the highest level and how you navigate the many challenges. These are very eventful times in the history of the world. And to be in the middle of that has been a great experience, and we are happy that we were here and we have contributed to deal with some of the challenges that are around the world.
So let's talk about some of the priorities that Sierra Leone cares. In your mind, what is the significance to amplify African voice on the stage of the UN to push for Security Council reform?
As a member of the Security Council, we use that opportunity to bring the perspectives of Africa, but also the concerns of Africa. We were not there at the beginning of the creation of the United Nations because most of us were not independent countries. Africa is 1.4 billion people, and most of the decisions at the Security Council, call it 60 to 70%, are actually about Africa. It is just but fair to make sure that Africa is equally represented.
So let's talk about the food insecurity issue. We know that WFP and FAO just released a report suggesting that 14 out of 16 food insecurity hotspots, the major reason is due to violence and conflict. How can the discussion in the Security Council make a difference to tackling this issue?
Well, as a premier organ of the United Nations, when we are together and put politics, geopolitics aside, the Security Council can deal with the world problems. It has been doing so for a very long time. And we believe that first we have to talk about prevention of wars and conflicts that are violent, that lead to hunger and starvation at the end of the day. And making sure that when this happens, we take a moral stance as the world, with the Security Council representing us, to make sure that nobody, no agency, no state or actor uses war as a pretext to create hunger, to aggravate food insecurity anywhere by destroying, let's say, agricultural fields, But that is what happens during a war. Agricultural fields are turned into battlefields, infrastructure meant to support agriculture. So there is this vicious circle between the causation leading to violent conflict and violent conflict, again feeding into starvation, hunger, and all, sometimes famine in the worst case. The Security Council is strong enough when it acts in unison.
4月25日至26日，位于塞拉利昂东北方向的马里遭到多起精心策划的协同恐怖袭击。马里首都巴马科等多个战略要地和军营遭袭，马里国防部长卡马拉遇袭身亡。西非国家经济共同体对袭击予以强烈谴责。马里曾是西非国家经济共同体成员，因政变于2024年退出西共体。作为西共体轮值主席，塞拉利昂总统比奥多次呼吁与马里等国恢复对话，希望通过反恐合作共同解决马里所在的萨赫勒地区的恐怖主义问题。据联合国公布的材料，受恐怖主义影响最严重的10个国家中，有5个位于萨赫勒地区。萨赫勒地区的恐怖主义伤亡人数占全球1半以上。
Mr. President, let's talk about Africa. We know that Sierra Leone pays close attention to Sahel region, a belt that south of Sahara expand several countries. What do you think is the challenge in Sahel region and why it's an important issue for Sierra Leone, maybe even for the world?
By geography, we are bound together with the AES and also call it the Sahel region. We are in the same continent, and whatever befalls them is likely to befall us. They are under the grip of threat of terrorism, who have created a lot of chaos, who continue to put pressure on the state apparatus. And they are not only a threat, they are threatening to security, but also threatening to dismantle the states in this area. It is incumbent upon us as the international community or the world, but first, we the neighbors, to make sure that we do not let that befall them. It is beyond the scope of those countries and us also as neighbors to handle that. And we are asking for a global coalition and through the United Nations Security Council, which should deal with threat of international proportion.
Mr. President, we know there are two kinds of voices about Africa. One said that Africa's solutions for African problems. The other one said African continent need more attention from the international community. Do you think these two voices are somehow contradictory, and what do you take of them?
They are not contradictory. They are mutually supporting each other, because we live in a world and we are part of the world. So our problems cannot be treated in isolation. For the most part, some of the challenges we encounter in Africa have more exogenous influences than the internal dynamics of Africa. So we cannot deal with them in isolation. Aside from that, it is easier to deal with these problems when you have the support of and solidarity of the global community that can provide certain support. What we are saying or are insisting on is that let Africa take a lead. We know our culture, we know our people, and we know our circumstances. But when things are designed from out of the continent without our input, they have never fitted so well in terms of implementation. So we want to be there on the table so that we design things, making sure that it is properly structured, it takes into account our situation, our culture, our economic circumstances, so that it fits on the ground very well. And we will be happy and take responsibility and accept and acknowledge mistakes where they are made, but also make sure that whatever is designed is fit for purpose.
We know that in Portuguese, Sierra Leone means Lion Mountains. So how do you plan to lead your country to run as a lion? And what is your vision for Sierra Leone's future?
Well, certain aspects of a lion, being brave to embark, to have the audacity to lead like we are doing today, the resilience. We have been challenged severally, but we will always come out of those challenges stronger than we were. So those are the aspects of the strong lion. We believe that there is sovereign equality, and as a sovereign nation, we should always go for what is best as our interest around the world.
Your Excellency Julius Maada Bio, President of Sierra Leone, thank you very much for taking your time and accept our interview again. Thank you.
You're welcome.